We have another guest in the studio. He is the new chairman of the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA. He's also still the party leader of the Farmers Party, Irongo Nyakera. Good morning, Bwana Chairman.
Good morning, and thanks a lot for having me here.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
How's it? Getting into the board of KEMSA, you know, is like going to Marafa Hell's Gate at 12 midday. Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
It's just hot.
Yes.
Is it?
I think when I was appointed, a lot of people sent me congratulatory remarks, notes, and others were just telling me I really wish you all the best.
Congratulations and condolence.
And condolence. It's like, we've seen many people go there and they don't come out of it looking too good.
We've seen what has happened to previous holders of this particular office.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a big thing. Is it a big shoe?
It's big, certainly big, and the fact that it was in the public eyes, lost the image has been tainted and lost face. So there's a lot to do internally, but also externally for people to start viewing it differently. KEMSA is very critical. It's one of the 4 pillars of the universal health coverage pillar. So if it fails, if it does not perform, then of course that whole pillar will collapse.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll ask you a couple of questions just to see, you know, what you have learned so far about the organization, what the issues are in the organization, and what you and your board are planning to do to right the ship. But to welcome you, Bwana Muga has the day's proverb.
I do. Our proverbs for the whole of this week come from the country of Malawi.
And you said the president is?
The president of Malawi, take a guess. Do?
Lazarus
Lazarus who?
Chakwera.
Chakwera. Doctor.
Dr. Lazarus
Yes,
Chakwera.
he's also a man of God.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, he lived in Buruburu for a while.
He did.
Teaching there at the Kenya
He did.
school. It's called what? The East African School of Theology.
I am aware there's a theological college there, just like I am aware there's a school of aviation in Buruburu. But the full names, I do not
You don't know?
know.
That one is called East.
Yes.
East
All
Africa
taking
School
you
of
higher.
Theology.
Yes.
Theology.
And his VP is called Saulos Chilima.
Saulos.
Saulos.
Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Eric wants to give him another name. Just let him for today.
No,
You know.
Saulos is good enough.
It's okay?
my goodness, that thing's sticking in his eyes. Saulos is a good name. Okay. A deer tethered with a golden chain can escape to the forest to eat grass. That's our proverb from Malawi for the day.
A deer tethered with a golden chain
Can escape.
can escape to the forest to eat grass.
Yes.
Chairman,
Gold chain notwithstanding.
what's your interpretation of that proverb?
Ni kama utalilia kwa Range Rover. Yeah.
Ama kwa bodaboda.
Ama utacheka kwa bodaboda.
Means the same thing.
I think it does.
Okay. Yesterday, your board released a statement, and this is what you said. This is KEMSA's board unveils major reforms, and among the things that you did was, you know, looking at procurement, looking at digitization, financial controls, looking at the human resource, and all those. Of course, what was big in the news is that you have said all the companies that had been pre-qualified to supply KEMSA, you have pulled the rug under them. No more pre-qualification. You also said that all those that have been single-sourced, you are reviewing all those contracts for companies that have been single-sourced and are single supplying to KEMSA, and you're introducing a lotting system in procurement that will set an upper financial limit beyond which no single bidder will win contracts. This and the other. Explain. What exactly was that?
So essentially, KEMSA's biggest issue is on procurement, because even when the president appointed me chair, he called me and told me about the role and what he wants me to go do and why he picked me. But more importantly, he just told me when I get there to beware of cartels, that they are cartels. And you see what cartels do is they really take control and means that there are no policies being followed anymore, and it's never fair game for anybody else to play in that space. KEMSA, when USAID was also there, you're talking of over 50 billion in procurements in a year. Yeah, so it's huge procurements. You find, like, for example, when on HIV alone it's over 15 billion, on TB, on malaria. So what you found is some individuals then came in and got what is called framework agreements. You get an agreement, which technically then means that going forward, that item will never be procured
By anybody else.
So you've been given 2-year contract that anytime that item is being procured, it's just you who will be called and told deliver. During that period, you can increase your price, you can change the location, you can say that the dollar has gone up, increase how much you're paying me, and you will be paid.
But it's within a framework.
It's within the framework.
Okay.
Yeah.
The framework also looks at, I mean, you can't just willy-nilly wake up today and decide, so I'm increasing the price by 500%.
No, you can't. But then also, if you say that we will not be able to deliver at that old price, we need to sit and renegotiate. Then you will sit and renegotiate, because then you're the only one who can deliver paracetamol. Yeah, hospitals need paracetamol. You're the only one who will deliver gloves. Hospitals need gloves. Yeah. So that's what has held captive and hostage the organization.
Are there benefits to this structure? Because for people to have arrived at an understanding that they wanted to enact it and to operationalize it,
the only benefit is actually in terms of deliveries, delivery time. So you essentially, because you always have someone who can deliver it, you'll never run out of that stock.
But are they the only people who can deliver it? And is it only with one firm, or are there several firms? Because if for some reason or the other somebody can't deliver and it's only one, therein lies an error.
Exactly.
Yes.
So in many cases, it's actually just one firm that then gets that whole.
But for a set period.
2 years.
Like it's a 2-year period.
So 2 years, then 2 years, of course, what you do whatever it takes to get renewed. Yeah. Put out to everybody.
You deliver.
Else. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I have a problem here.
Why?
Because if you are saying that you have this arrangement and only one firm is allowed to procure under this particular structure, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have a choice,
Yeah.
already you have a problem.
It's single sourcing. It's a monopoly.
Already
Yes,
there's a problem, a huge one.
Yeah. And that's why so I'm saying, even if they increase the prices, nobody will even look at it, because within the framework, that item is no longer up for discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the things that we've cancelled. And that's why we are saying, for the next year or so, we will not use framework agreements.
Okay.
All the items will be procured openly, and properly. Will ensure that the quantities that are being procured are procured such that we will still not have stockouts, and they'll be procured as frequently as need be. Yeah, but open it up for Kenyans. On the issue of having an upper limit, what I was saying is, when someone gets a tender for 2-3 billion, why should it be so when you can have 10 Kenyans getting tenders of 300 million? Yeah, having just different deliveries, what we used to call lotting, and it's there within the procurement process. When I was in PS for transport, on the roadside there were lots. You get a road is 100 kilometers. 3 companies get 30 kilometers each.
To finish the road.
To finish the road. The specs are the same. But then it means that in terms of delivery times is faster. In terms of distribution of risk, the risk is distributed. And in terms of even financial gains, there are more people then who get to benefit financially, not just one individual.
But with this framework, are you limited to only having one entity procuring? Can't you have a framework with, say, 4 entities
you
or
can,
5?
You can. You know what? The corruption starts at the specifications, at the point of specification. Yeah. So you see, like, for example, if you are to specify a meeting to be held on Mombasa Road, I say first that meeting has to be on a road that goes to Mombasa. Yeah. Then you say it needs to be in a building that
That is
looks
just
like
500 meters from Panari.
500 meters for Panari. Yeah. So when you give those specifications, it all points us to Spice FM head office. Yeah. So that's the issue. So then all these other people do not qualify. I was seeing where even in terms of a tablet, they're saying a tablet has to be like 33 millimeters. Yeah.
Yes.
And if all the other tablets are 30 millimeters. So it means
It's already pre-chosen.
there's already one company only that can
Allow me to
produce
just
that.
speak into this one here. When you're dealing with medical research and your pharmaceutical products, unfortunately, if there's a protocol that specifies, say, a certain drug, they even mention it by name. You can't deviate from it.
Yes.
And if that drug has the specifications you speak of, again, you can't deviate from it.
Exactly.
Because if you deviate, it's a protocol deviation and you're going to shut down that study.
Yes.
So in that specific instance, it is absolutely necessary.
Yes.
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 So, I mean, you said at the beginning of this, when this appointment was given to you, that the president said, be careful because you're going to a place of cartels.
Yes.
He may have been onto something. Looking at some of the labels that KEMSA has received over the last, odd 3 to 5 years, KEMSA is one of the most corrupt agencies in the country, etc., etc. I don't agree with that because I don't think KEMSA as an entity is corrupt. Corruption is practiced by people, individuals, and one would also assume that at this point there are folks, these cartels that we speak about, frothing at the mouth, waiting for an opportunity that will present itself for them to do this thing over and over again. The loopholes that you speak of, where people have been able to fix themselves into, some would think that they will still be able to do it again. I mean, there's a list of what many would call the scandals that have taken place, and then when it comes to something as fundamental and as necessary as healthcare and treatment for the country's distributor of these things to all outlets within the nation, then it is very, very sensitive. Needless to say, there is a hard task that is before you to rid the stain of the image that is already there, and then to make sure that this agency then runs in the way in which it ought to run, without all of this drama and scandal that has previously happened. Do you think it is necessary then to go through personnel? I mean, there's some folks who've been working remotely. They know that there are those who are in the office. There's been a removal of so many. Do you think that it then needs to be a personnel issue when it comes to sorting out some of these problems?
Yes, actually, I would say first, KEMSA in itself is susceptible to all these issues because it's a procurement company. You see, it's for procuring, warehousing, distribution. Those are the functions of KEMSA. And of course, every time there is procurement, then there are interests. And I would say first, the 70% of the issues at KEMSA when we came in were HR issues. Yeah. And we got a very good board. The president gave us a board, independence, a team of 4, excellent, with very good backgrounds on that. So when we came in, one of the first things that we did was to say that all the 200 staff who at that point were working from home to come back to the office. Yeah. And you find that even some of the people working from home were security officers. Yeah.
So really,
and you find that sometimes they also get overtime when they're working from home.
Fun. Okay.
So that was the first step. Everybody coming back to the office. Of course, it was chaotic because now these people coming in and they're saying we've been gone for 2 years. Yeah. Others. So already the environment becomes very emotional. Yeah. From there, we called a meeting with all the staff and engage them, just telling them, yeah, we are new, we know your issues, and we want to solve your issues. Then the management, there were 2 sets of management. Half of the managers were at home. Yeah, you find even the HR manager is at home, working from home. But then there's another manager who's been brought to sit in for them. Yeah. So what we did is all the ones who had been seconded to KEMSA, we released them immediately. Yeah. So that now the ones who are sitting at home can come back and take over the stations. But these are stations that they've been gone away from for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So even someone coming in and saying, yes, I'm the finance person, but I need first to check who's the signatory to the banks, because
So no.
I've not been here for those 2 years. But he's a substantive, getting full salary for those 2 years. Yeah. So what the issue of HR, the demoralized and all that. That's why now at this point, now we are looking at the needs assessment of the institution, because clearly there are people who are recruited. We had double staffing, even if it's not double, at least 200-300 people who don't necessarily need to be at KEMSA. Yeah. So that's why one of the things I've said is, or the board resolved, is that the staff who we do not require and are on contract will not get their contracts renewed end of this month.
Okay.
It's painful, but it's a decision that have to be made.
How many people are we talking about? On average?
Probably about 200.
About 200 who've been working on contract.
Contract, we are talking about double that, about 450.
About 450.
Yeah.
But then there's those who've been seconded from elsewhere.
Yes.
Who've been coming to report to KEMSA on
Those
a daily
we've already
basis.
sent them back.
Those ones have gone back.
Yes.
And many who are working from home are now coming back to the office.
Everybody.
But then, during that period, Bona Chairman, you had an organization that was paying all those people working from home, not necessarily being efficient or productive. And then the same organization is paying these other people who've been seconded to it. And the same organization has people on contracts.
Yes.
Is the board going to review these decisions and take necessary action? Or recommend necessary action? Or at least invite the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to come in and look into that? Because that's a lot of money wasted. That's a lot of human resource and human capital wasted.
Let's say that the people who worked from home overstayed that. Yeah, because they should have, even if it was for people to go out for investigations to be carried out, 2 years is too long. And in particular, when you are still need that function carried out, meaning that you hire additional people. Yeah, and the people at home are getting full salaries. I think it was a complete waste of public resources and KEMSA money. But I think for us, we need to be forward looking, because if we look back on everything around KEMSA, we'll be stuck there for a very long time. Yeah, the issues, there are issues that we have to look back. The issues of procurement, where we know that individuals just got free money, delivering nothing but were paid.
Those two are interconnected, Bona Chairman.
They're interconnected.
The reason why these people are suspended is so that investigations can be conducted into decision making around these procurement matters.
Yes.
Now, do you have a report of the investigations that are conducted in those 2 years when all these workers were at home? And what do the reports say? Are there people who need to go to court?
I don't think there was much that was being done.
There was no investigation.
No. There wasn't much of investigations that were done. You know,
but
the COVID.
We were told many
COVID,
things. The EACC said it's conducting
but the COVID
investigations.
billionaires, as we all remember, were government people. They were linked to government. So there was really nothing that was going to be done to them at that point. Yeah. And so all those investigations, as we remember, within 2-3 weeks of that, we were just told everything quietened out. People were sent home, innocent people. They went home. The ones who were enjoying their billions continued enjoying state protection to enjoy their billions, and that matter rested. Yeah.
Are you reviving
it? Actually, the reason why nobody cared to bring these people back is they just felt that we've established
everything has quieted down.
Yes.
So will you revive those things? Because we still have an issue. KEMSA just 2-3 years ago lost billions of shillings. That's what we were told.
Yes.
We'd like investigations to tell us whether that's true. KEMSA, within those 2 or 3 years, had staff who were colluding with rogue people to fleece the organization. As a board that's coming to clean the mess.
Yeah. You know what happened is that the 3 billion, 4 billion that was lost at KEMSA was, and as you will be told, was not lost through non-delivery or poor procurement. That's what you'll be told, because it was an emergency period, the procurement was done. where the money was lost was that the items that were procured at very high prices. Yeah. But then, by the time KEMSA is selling them, they're selling them at market prices or below market prices. And then there were also procured too many items that were unnecessary. Right now, they're still lying in the warehouses at KEMSA. Yeah. So items that were procured, say, for 3 billion or 2 billion are lying there, but their market price is half or less. But also, there's no market. Where do you take body bags? There's no place. Even Shakahola only needed 500. Yeah. And here you have, say, 2 million body bags. So it's items that were procured unnecessarily. Yeah. So even if you start investigating, yeah, the person will say, yes, the procurement process went through. I delivered. These are the prices. Yes, the fact that the market collapsed. Yeah. WHO started coming to distribute free items, COVID masks. So the ones that were at KEMSA to be sold were lying there, yeah, and they're still there. Yeah. So that the issue then to investigate then isn't as material. Yeah. They managed to beat the system on that.
Let's take a break and then we continue the conversation shortly. Irongo Nyakera is the chairman of the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. The board has met, and yesterday the board made several pronouncements. And what they're saying is reforming the institution and taking it forward, taking matters on procurement. There's some decisions that were made, matters on human resource, matters on digitization. And what we want to understand from him today is what this new board is doing to correct the image of KEMSA. It's 8:30.